I put together today's practice with the intention of supporting us in all the many feelings that we may be having in our current situation. So we'll do a lot of grounding poses to help us feel steady and calm even while everything seems so up in the air at the moment. And then we'll have some surrendering poses. We just accept things as they are, and also some heart-opening poses to help lift our spirits and help us remember that even while we're apart, we're all in this together. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start in child's pose. The knees can be together or the knees can be apart. The big toes are touching and sitting on the heels. If that's not comfortable, you can take a blanket and slide it in between the thighs and the calves. I want your forehead to be in contact with something, either the mat, or if it can't reach the mat, then place a blanket under it. But we'll walk those hands out into child's pose and let the forehead rest on the mat or the blanket. And I want you to just connect to the breath here, closing the eyes if that feels good and safe to you. And then I want you to be aware of that point and bring your attention to the point where the forehead is resting on the mat. And on your next exhale, I want you to visualize or imagine that all the thoughts that are swimming around your head or weighing you down drain out of the head through that point in the forehead and out onto the mat, into the earth. So taking a deep breath in, and on your exhale, just relaxing and releasing all of those thoughts and worries, any anxieties out that point in the forehead. So go ahead and do that 2 more times. And after that second exhale, slowly finding your way into the all fours position or tabletop. And some people find it comfortable to place a blanket under the knees here for just a little bit of extra padding. We're going to let the ear drop over to the shoulder and then down and around for some neck circles. Switching directions when you feel ready. And then finding yourself back in a neutral spine. We're going to shift forward over those wrists and then back, seat towards the heels for some big barrel rolls. These can be as big or as small as feels good to you. We're just gently warming up the body here. And then when you feel ready, switching the direction. And then finding your way back to neutral spine. We're going to inhale, drop that belly down, look up. And exhale, round that spine, pull the belly button up towards the spine. Inhale, dropping the belly down, looking up. And exhale, round that spine. Continuing with your own breath pattern. Inhale as you let the belly come down, and exhale as you round the back. And one more just like this. And coming back to a neutral spine. We're gonna inhale and open up. Stretching that chest gently, twisting through the upper back. And on your next exhale, go ahead and thread the needle. On your next inhale, finding your way back up to tabletop. And then we switch sides. Inhale, opening up in the other direction. And exhale, thread the needle on this side. And on your next inhale, coming back to tabletop. We make sure that the weight is in all four corners of the palms. And then we take those toes, tuck them under, and push our hips up and back to our first down dog. And if you'd like here, you can bend one knee at a time, sending one heel down towards the earth at a time. Or maybe it feels good to drop the hips from side to side. Any movement here that feels good in your body. And then finding stillness when you're ready. We'll bend the knees deeply and walk those hands back to find ourselves in forward fold. The weight's balanced evenly on all four corners of the feet, and the belly button's pulled up towards the spine, and the neck relaxes. Just imagine the head like a trapdoor where anything still on your mind empties out and falls onto the floor. And then when you're ready, rolling the spine up slowly, one vertebrae at a time. And rolling the shoulders. We'll breathe the arms out and around. And exhale the hands to heart center. We're at the top of our mat for our sun salutations. We'll go through them one time. And then when we do the other side, I'll offer the modifications. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, hands to the shins. We halfway lift with a flat back, heart forward. Exhale, plant the hands. Step the right foot back, knee comes to the mat. Inhale, arms come up. Little baby back bend and stretch in the hip flexor. Exhale, plant the hands. Step back into plank. And on your exhale, bend the elbows and lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale to the belly. Inhale, pushing up to plank. And exhale back to down dog. Take that right leg up to the sky and bring it in between the hands. Place the knee on the mat. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, that back foot comes forward, hands to the shins, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms circle around and up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, the hands to the shins, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step the left foot back this time. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, plant the hands. Modified version, come into tabletop instead of plank. As we exhale, we lower down. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale to the belly. Inhale, back to tabletop. Exhale, back to down dog. Take the left leg to the sky. Reach down, grab the ankle, help it up. Back knee comes to the mat. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, plant the hands. Step that back foot forward. Hands to the shins, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms circle around and up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Another round. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands to the shins, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step the right leg back. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, plant the hands. Step into plank. Exhale, with or without the knees. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, belly to the mat. Inhale through plank. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, right leg goes to the sky. And bring it in between the hands. Bring arms come up on the inhale. Exhale, hands to the mat. Inhale, back foot forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms around and up. Exhale, heart center. Bring the hands to the hips. And we're going to leave the left foot right where it is and step the right foot back. So the right foot will be parallel with the back edge of the mat and the front knee will bend. So we can come into warrior two. We're going to ground down through the feet. Feel that connection to the mat. We're going to check that our ribs are right over the hips, not leaning forward like this. And that our knee is not over the toes. and our knees not collapsing in like this. Push it out just slightly. Check in with the shoulders so that they're not up by the ears. Relax them down the back. Traditionally, the gaze is over the first two fingers, but if that's too much on the neck, you can look straight ahead. We're going to start to move with this warrior two. As we inhale, we're going to straighten the front leg, bring the arms up, and exhale, bend the front knee. Inhale, arms come up, and exhale. Continue in your own breath, matching the breath to your own rhythm, matching that movement to the breath. We'll do one more like this. And we're going to flip that front palm and let the left hand come down, tracing the back leg and tipping backwards into a peaceful warrior. So the peaceful warrior can also be done with the front leg straight or with the front leg bent. Your choice. Whatever feels the best. We'll come back into warrior two. And this time we'll take the left forearm to the left thigh and bring the right hand over at an angle, opening up that side body. So we're trying not to collapse down onto the thigh, but to keep space right here and also space right here. On your next inhale, we'll come back up through warrior two. We'll straighten that front leg, let the arms drop and rest. Now turn the front toes so now they're parallel with the back edge of the mat. And now we turn the right toes so that they're facing in the other direction. We bend that knee. And now we can come into warrior two on the other side. Again, the feet are grounded, rooting down through that mat. Checking in that there's some weight on the back edge of the back foot. Our knee is bent, but not bending over the toes. If it is, just walk that foot out a little bit. The shoulders aren't up by the ears, but relax down the back. And we're sending lines of energy from fingertip to fingertip. We'll start to move on this side as well. So inhale, arms come up, front leg straightens. And exhale, bend. Inhale up. Exhale, bend. Again. And hold. Flip that front palm. Let the back hand travel down the back leg. Peaceful warrior. On your next inhale, coming back up through warrior two, bringing that forearm to the thigh, and the back arm coming up at an angle, opening up the side body. On your next inhale, coming up through warrior two. And then straightening that front leg, letting the hands drop to the hips. We'll come into a wide leg straddle. So the toes are now pointed forwards, or maybe even just a little bit pigeon-toed. We'll bring the arms behind the back, interlace the fingers. And then we'll send those palms away towards the floor. If this is too much on your shoulders, you can grab opposite elbows. And then we'll release the hands. Bring the arms out for a 5-pointed star. Crown is lifted. We're going to take a big breath in to lengthen the spine. And as we exhale, we're going to keep the back flat and fold halfway down. Gaze is at the floor. We're engaging those hamstrings and the core. One more breath like this. And exhale, round the back, release the hands to the floor. To release this pose, if you have any dizziness, you should roll the spine up one vertebrae at a time. If you want to add some work for the hamstrings and the core, bring the hands to the hip crease, engage the hamstrings, and come up with a flat back. Please don't try that option if you have any vertigo or dizziness or low blood pressure. And then we'll come and stop to the top of the mat, Tadasana. Our feet are about hip distance apart. And we're just stacked nicely right in a line. Good posture pose, I call it sometimes. And we're going to send all the way over to the right foot. Bring the hands to the hips. And we're going to bring that left knee up and rotate it out to come into tree. So you have lots of options here with tree. You can leave the toes on the mat, a little kickstand. You can bring the toes to the calf, or you can reach down and bring it up to the inner thigh. Only place it can't be is right on that knee. So pick which version of tree. And then we're going to bring the hands to a low V for this one. So the secret with balance poses is to find something still on the floor to look at. Rooting down through that standing leg, that standing foot. And then we're letting the crown of the head grow. And then coming out of the tree, you have the option to touch the foot down or not. We're going to turn that knee back forward, leaving the left leg up, bring the right hand up, and we're going to come into balancing stick. So we tip forward, and then we come back up to standing. You can choose to tap the foot or not. More challenging if you don't tap the foot. And then next time that you lean forward, go ahead and bring the arms out to the side to come into airplane. So the hips are square to the mat. The arms are out to the sides like an airplane. The back foot is flexed. Crown of the head reaching forwards. And then when you've had enough, go ahead and come back to standing. Taking any arch stretch that feels good here, especially for that standing leg. We'll take the feet a little bit wider than hip distance. Inhale, open those arms up. Exhale, round that spine and imagine hugging a beach ball. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. And again. And last time here. And release it down. I will do balancing on the other side. So I'll turn to the side for a different angle this time. So we root down through the left foot. Bring that right knee up and turn it out to any version of tree that feels good to you. We have a different option with the hands. You can keep them at heart center this time. Or if you'd like to grow those branches up. And then when you're ready to come out of tree, we'll go into balancing stick. Leaving that right leg up. Turn that knee forward. Left hand comes up. We tip forward. I'm back. And forward. And back. Couple more times just like this. And then the next time you come forward, coming into airplane on this side. And when you've had enough of airplane, coming back up to standing. Feet go a little wider than hip distance, toes turn out, and you can just sway it out. Twisting the body from side to side. And then we'll come back to center. Feet come back to hip distance. We inhale those arms up. Interlace the fingers except for the index fingers and the thumbs. We inhale, lengthen the spine. We exhale, tip to the right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, tip to the left. Inhale, back to center. Lengthen that spine on your inhale, exhale, little baby back bend. Inhaling back to center. Exhale, let those hands come all the way through heart center and forward fold. Where we'll take opposite hands and elbows, coming into ragdoll. We nod the head yes. We shake the head no. Then we bend those knees, place the hands on the floor, and come back into either plank or tabletop, where we'll lower all the way to the belly. We're going to bring the elbows in front of us, right underneath the shoulders, and come into Sphinx. feels like too much on your back, and just walk those elbows forwards a little bit. We'll drop the ear over towards the shoulder, stretching that neck gently. And switch sides. And let that chin come towards the chest. And then bringing the head back up. And go ahead and bring the forehead to the hands. Just in a nice resting pose. So from here we'll move into a couple rounds of locust. I like to have a blanket underneath my pelvis. If you don't have a yoga blanket, a beach towel works as well. So to come into locust, we bring the hands along the side as palms are turned up. And as we inhale, we lift everything up off of the ground except for the pelvis. On our second round, I'll offer modifications. When you're ready, release it down on an exhale. And go ahead and bring one cheek to the mat. When you feel ready for the second round, go ahead and bring the forehead to the mat. Our arms come back. And on your inhale, lift everything into locust. If you'd like a modification, you can lift just the legs. Or you can lift just the upper body. On your next exhale, go ahead and lower it down, turning the opposite cheek to the mat. For our final round of locust, you can choose any of that we've done so far, or you can come into bow. So to come into bow, we bend the knees, bring the heels towards the seat, and we reach back for the ankles or the tops of the feet. Again, just like locust, we inhale and lift. And if you're in bow, we work to bring the knees towards each other, not out like this. And when you're ready, lower it down. Forehead comes to the hands. And just give the hips a little shimmy side to side to release the low back. Then bringing the hands under the shoulders, push that seat up and back to come into child's pose. So in this child's pose, I want you to visualize moving the breath. So on your next inhale, imagine sending the breath all to the lower back, filling up that low back. And filling up the belly, pressing it against the thighs. And exhale. On your next inhale, we're going to imagine sending the breath right to the ribs. Filling up the sides of the body. And exhale, relax. And then on the final inhale, we're going to visualize sending that breath to the upper back and to the chest. And exhale. And just let it come out. And then make your way to a seated position. We're gonna drop the seat to one side or the other and come into staff pose. So if your hamstrings are tight, often it feels good to prop up the sits bones, the little bony things on your seat, to prop those up on a blanket. Depending on the length of your arms, maybe you have the fingers pointing forwards, or maybe they feel better pointing backwards. The idea is that we're making a nice right angle with the body. And we're gonna bring the right knee up. We're gonna inhale those arms up. And on our exhale, we're gonna twist over that knee. Back hand comes behind the body. And again, trying to keep that nice 90-degree angle, keeping the spine nice and tall. We untwist, coming back forward. Let that knee drop out to the side. Inhale those arms up. And exhale, reaching towards the foot. So just a nice forward fold here. And then when you're ready, go ahead and come back up. Take that right hand behind the seat. Remove the blanket. Come up onto the right shin. And stretch up and over. If you want to turn this more into a chest stretch, you can turn that chest up towards the ceiling. Or you can keep it more of a side body stretch here. And then when you're ready, release it down. We send that right leg out, and now we bring the left leg up. We'll inhale those arms up, and exhale, twisting over that knee. Back hand comes behind us. We can either wrap the knee or bring the elbow to the outside of the knee. We use our breath to twist, inhaling to lengthen, exhale, maybe twisting a little bit more, maybe not. Maybe that gaze looks over the shoulder, or maybe that's too much on your neck today. We come back to center. Drop that knee down to the mat. Inhale those arms up. And exhale, forward fold. When you're ready, go ahead and come back up. Take that left hand behind the seat, coming up onto the left shin. Side body stretch. Or opening the chest towards the ceiling, yogi's choice. And then when you feel ready, dropping the hips back. We take both legs in front of us. Feet are flexed and active. We find the sits bones and connect them to the mat again, or to the blanket. And have both arms up. And exhale, forward fold. So this forward fold should feel calming and grounding. So we're not pushing ourselves or pulling on our legs. We're just letting the neck relax, letting the back stretch and relax. The best thing about a home practice is there's nobody here to impress. And then slowly finding your way back up. We'll come on to the elbows, soles of the feet to the floor, about mat distance. And we just windshield wiper the legs. And then bring them back to center. Go ahead and find your way all the way flat on your back. Bring the knees into the chest and give them a nice little squeeze. And then placing the hands on the kneecaps, we draw little circles on the ceiling, massaging out the sacrum, the SI joints. It's two little dents right at the low back. And then when you feel ready, go ahead and reverse that direction, drawing circles in the other direction on the ceiling. And then coming to be still. We're going to let the left leg go out straight. Squeezing the right one in just a little bit. And then dropping that knee over to the side, supine twist. And then bringing that knee back up to center, giving it a nice squeeze, and one more time before letting it go out straight on the floor and switching the leg. Give that left knee a squeeze. Drop it across the body. The shoulders stay on the mat. And then bring the body back to center. One more squeeze for that leg. Go ahead and let that leg go out straight. Let the arms come up over your head. Point the toes, reach with the fingers, full body stretch. We'll bring the soles of the feet to the floor. Bring the hands to the hip bones. Let the soles of the feet touch now and let the knees fall out to the sides. So if this feels like too much pressure on the knees and the inner thighs, then go ahead and support them with blocks. If you don't have any blocks, another option here would be reclining figure 4 to get that nice stretch to the inner thigh. Just make sure you switch legs halfway through.
If you're doing the reclining figure 4 option, go ahead and switch legs now. And if you're still in reclining bound angle, take the hands to the outside of the thighs and help push the legs back together. We'll leave the knees together, walk the feet out towards the edges of the mat. So now we're kind of laying knock-knee. And take the arms, give yourself a big hug. And then switch the arm that's on top for the hug. And then go ahead and release the arms by the side, the legs come down, and we'll find our way into Shavasana. I know it's tempting in a home practice to skip Shavasana altogether, but you've heard many yoga teachers say this is the most important part of the practice. And right now, I'd argue it's the most important. It's the ultimate act of surrender. So I'm going to show you a couple of ways to make it more comfortable. And even though in my classes, I don't tend to talk during Shavasana, for this one, I'll guide you through it. So if you have low back issues in Shavasana, I encourage you to roll up a towel or a blanket and place it underneath the knees. Or if you have yoga blocks at home, it can feel good to place one under each calf. Our core temperature tends to drop while we're relaxing, so you may want to put on some socks or put on a sweatshirt or cover up with a blanket or a towel. So however you like to get into Shavasana, let's go ahead and find our way there now. We'll lie flat on the back. The feet are hip distance and they just kind of fall open and away from each other. The palms are away from the body and they're turned up. We consciously move the shoulder blades down the back. And then we gently close the eyes. We start to notice the rhythm of our breath. And without too much effort, we work to make the inhales and the exhales a little bit longer. Trying to make them equal in length. We feel the belly rising as we inhale and gently falling back down as we exhale. Starting with the number 10. Each time we exhale, feeling the body relax just a little bit more. So exhaling 10, body relaxes. Exhale 9, a little more relaxed. 8, a little more relaxed than 9. And continue with your own breath. And once you get to 0, letting go of the counting, letting go of trying to shape the breath, and just letting it return to its natural rhythm. If thoughts start to come up, don't try to push them away. Just acknowledge them and let them go. Start to wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes, bringing movement back into the body. And when you're ready, rolling over onto your right side. Taking just a couple of breaths here. And then when you feel ready, using your arms to push yourself back to a cross-legged seat. We'll bring the hands to heart center. In the midst of these times, don't forget to be gentle with yourself. Offer yourself compassion and love. And until we get to practice again together, stay well. Namaste.